In this movie, Captain America is a douchebag who kills people. It's not really Captain America, but you know what I mean. It's Chris Evans, so that's kind of what I saw in some scenes. Gray Man is written, produced, and directed by the Russo brothers, and it stars Ryan Gosling, Chris Evans, and Ana de Armas. And in this movie, an American top operative played by Ryan Gosling uncovers something very dark about the agency and about certain things that have gone on in the past. This causes multiple people in multiple areas, from villains to agents, to want to go after him and have him eliminated. This causes Chris Evans, another former assassin, who's coming back in the business, he's someone who's been there for a long time, to also have to pursue him in an attempt to kill him, which ensues a deadly chase for survival and truth throughout a large area. This movie is probably, I'm going to say, the most Russo-y thing I've seen in a while. These brothers have a very keen sense of when you're watching a Russo brothers movie, it's one of theirs. And this feels very much like it, because this film is still very reminiscent of films like, their Marvel films and movies made before it, and it has that special touch to it, which often can work or often cannot work. This movie, for the most part, works. I think that this movie is a great blast for just a fun, action, disposable film. All the action in it looks absolutely gorgeous, as it always does. If the Russo brothers are making an action movie, you're pretty much going to have action that looks pretty exceptional. It's going to be good, and they're going to know how to shoot it, and they're going to know how to make it look as visceral and just make you get your blood pumping as possible. And this movie totally does that, and it takes advantage of the strengths of everyone in it to really give you that film that feels just kind of, I guess, like a big summer blockbuster. Let's talk about everyone in it. Ryan Gosling is probably the most physical I've seen him in a long time, and gives a very good performance in this movie. He offers pretty much the same thing that we see in most movies from a spy, but because it's Ryan Gosling, I'm a big sucker for him. I think I thought it was a little extra special. Also seeing him go up against Chris Evans, who offers one of the most slimy, douchebaggy performances I've ever seen, is just a blast. Their game of cat and mouse was what really kept this movie going for me. It was so much fun. It was irritating at times, as it should be, and it was just a lot of, I got ahead of you, I got ahead of you. It was a nice little game of chess that they put in a movie and made it fun and put some of that dialogue in there to make it like, that was good. And I think everyone in this movie continues to be exceptional. Ana de Armas, once again, continues to blow me away. And I think this girl, pretty much at this point, no matter how bad the film is that she's in, can do no wrong. She manages to be someone else every movie. Like, she has a character for everyone, and this is no different. She is phenomenal in here, and I enjoyed every second of her on screen. Jean Page, I believe his name is great in this movie. I loved him. He's not in it as much as I thought he would be, but I really loved what they did with his character and how he goes about playing it. I've heard some people putting whispers out there he should be James Bond, and after this, I'm like, yeah, I could kind of see that. As for the plot of this movie, it's something we've all seen before. It's a pretty basic plot, but I didn't go in this movie expecting something to reinvent the spy genre. I went in here to see a fun spy film. And I think if you're going in with that mindset, it works. Because this is very much one of those spy films. It's one of those films where everyone sits around a table talking like, a seat. You ever hear of a man by the name of Smith? Sammy Smith? I only remember the names of the people that I've killed. I should have known about him. Perfect record. Never failed a mission. Shot 100 people. With his eyes closed. Across the street. While eating Burger King. While lucidly dreaming. Real tough cookie. He ain't no problem. I've killed people way tougher than him before. I'm afraid. Just kind of one of those movies where it's not meant to necessarily be taken as seriously as it could be. Now, am I going to say that this movie has no problems because of the fact it's being that way? No. There's still visual flaws with this movie. Like, it is not shot, I think, necessarily as well as it could be in scenes that don't involve action. Oftentimes, it just doesn't look that good. And I think the script is a little shaky. It needs some work, and there's some things, especially logic by characters, in certain scenes that I just didn't understand. I wasn't sure why people were making these decisions, and it felt like, also there are things in here that are tropes, and because of that, the film at times can feel a little stale, and you can feel like, okay, we've done this, seen this, but at the same time, it puts twists on it in a way where you feel like, oh, okay, that's cool, I like that. At a time where we often are not getting action movies that are as good as they can be, this is more or less the exception. This is something I think is very enjoyable. It's something you can sit down and watch, have a blast, eat popcorn, and watch a bunch of explosions with people walking in slow motion with their sunglasses on. It's just that kind of film. I don't know like how to really criticize it, because I think there are some points where you watch a movie and you have to walk in and know what you're walking into and just kind of turn off your brain a little bit. Like, you can criticize it, but there's a certain point where you're like, okay, you know, it's what it is. It wasn't trying to be fantastic. It isn't trying to be Mission Impossible. It's just trying to be something that's worthwhile and have a fun romp with, and you can go home and probably forget about it in a week. And for that, what it was going for, I think it does a good job. And I had fun with it, and I enjoyed it. And I think if you're just out to have a good time, where, again, it's not too violent, it's just a good PG-13 action movie, this is a movie you should go check out. I'm going to give The Gray Man a 6 out of 10. So thank you guys, as always, so much for watching. I appreciate all of you, and I will see you next time.